The sun was setting, casting an orange glow over the quiet suburban streets, a stark contrast to the storm brewing in Ethan's heart. He had been working long hours, trying to secure a deal for his latest project, while his wife, Mia, stayed home, often alone. He had always trusted her, believing their love was unbreakable, but recent whispers of doubt had begun to creep into his mind. One evening, after another exhausting day, Ethan returned home, the weight of the world on his shoulders. As he parked his car in the driveway, he noticed something odd. Mia's car was still there, but hers was parked in the shadowy corner of the garage, its engine warm. A wave of unease washed over him. Inside, the house was eerily quiet. He called out for Mia, but only silence answered. Then, from the garage, he heard a muffled sound, laughter, unmistakably feminine, mixed with a deep, resonant voice. A chill ran down his spine as he approached the door, his pulse quickening. Peering through the small window, he caught a glimpse that shattered his world. Mia was in the back seat of a sleek black car, her laughter ringing out like a siren's call. But it was the man beside her, a striking figure with a charismatic smile that stole the breath from his lungs. It was Lucas, the scout director, the man Ethan had introduced Mia to just weeks ago, believing him to be a valuable contact for their film. In that moment, everything he had taken for granted seemed to crumble. Ethan watched, paralyzed, as Lucas leaned in closer to Mia, whispering something that made her giggle, her eyes sparkling with a wildness he had never seen before. His heart raced, each beat punctuated by the sting of betrayal. The car's interior was dimly lit, but it was enough to see the way Lucas's hand brushed against Mia's thigh, a casual gesture that spoke volumes. Mia responded with a flirtatious smile, leaning in closer, her body arching toward him, oblivious to the world outside. The intimacy of their connection felt like a slap to Ethan's face, igniting a fire of rage and sorrow within him. For a moment, he wanted to burst in, to confront them, to demand answers. But part of him hesitated, trapped in the limbo of disbelief and heartache. Instead, he stepped back into the shadows, unseen, as the scene unfolded, a twisted dance of seduction and betrayal, playing out just inches from where he stood. The weight of their laughter, and the heat of their shared moments filled the air, heavy with the scent of deceit. Ethan could only watch as the life he thought he knew unraveled before him, the love he had cherished now tangled in a web of betrayal. As night descended, the scene shifted, the headlights of the car illuminating their silhouettes. Mia, once his devoted partner, now a figure of desire in another man's arms. The reality of her infidelity settled over Ethan like a dark cloud, leaving him to grapple with the truth of what he had witnessed and the impending storm of emotions that awaited him. Ethan turned away, knowing that whatever came next would change everything. He felt the anger bubbling inside him, a tempest ready to erupt, and as he stepped away from the garage, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to lose everything he held dear. Continuation: The Temptation of Shadows. Ethan stood in the shadows, his heart racing as the reality of Mia's betrayal sunk deeper. The air felt electric with the tension of what he had just witnessed. He turned away from the garage, pacing the driveway, his mind swirling with conflicting emotions, rage, heartbreak, and an inexplicable curiosity that tugged at him like a forbidden whisper. As he paced, he could still hear their laughter, the sound haunting him. He fought the urge to confront them, but a part of him wanted to understand what had drawn Mia into Lucas's arms, what had sparked this flame of desire that now consumed her. He recalled their intimate moments, the late-night conversations, the warmth of her body next to his, and the way she had always looked at him with love. Now that love felt like a fragile illusion, shattered by the sight of her with another man. Taking a deep breath, Ethan moved back toward the garage, this time more deliberately. He found a place where he could see them without being noticed. The interior of the car was dim, but he could make out the way Mia leaned against the window, her hair cascading over her shoulders, glowing in the soft light of the dashboard. Lucas, with his confident demeanor, seemed to have a hold over her, one that Ethan felt he had lost. Mia laughed again, a sound that used to send warmth through Ethan but now felt like ice. Lucas leaned in closer, his hands sliding further up Mia's thigh, inching toward the hem of her skirt. She shivered, a reaction that spoke volumes, and for a moment, Ethan's heart ached with an emotion he had never expected: jealousy. "Do you want this?" Lucas asked, his voice low and teasing, filled with an edge of authority that made Ethan's stomach churn. Mia's breath hitched as she met his gaze, her lips parting slightly, a smile playing on them. "You have no idea how much I've wanted this," she breathed, and Ethan's world tilted on its axis. The admission struck Ethan like a physical blow, and he felt an intense heat rise in his cheeks. How had he missed the signs? How had he failed to see the spark between them? The car rocked slightly as Lucas pulled her closer, their bodies aligning in a way that felt both intimate and wrong. With each passing second, Ethan found himself captivated by the scene unfolding before him. Lucas's fingers trailed along Mia's thigh, inching ever higher, igniting a fire that seemed to pulse between them. Her skin glowed under the soft interior light, and Ethan's breath caught in his throat as he watched her lean into Lucas, her eyes fluttering with a mixture of excitement and desire. "Tell me what you want," Lucas whispered, his voice low and sultry, sending shivers down Ethan's spine. "I want to feel everything," Mia replied, her voice a sultry whisper that sent waves of both longing and betrayal crashing over Ethan. Ethan couldn't look away as Lucas captured her chin, tilting her face toward him. Their lips met in a slow, tantalizing kiss that seemed to unravel the very fabric of Ethan's reality. It was soft at first, but the hunger grew quickly, fueled by the electricity of their connection. Mia responded eagerly, her hands threading through Lucas's hair, pulling him closer as if they were the only two people in the universe. Ethan's heart raced as he felt the weight of his emotions crashing over him like a tidal wave. He wanted to scream, to shatter the moment, but the sight of Mia lost in another man's embrace left him frozen, a spectator in a tragedy of his own making. Every kiss, every caress was a dagger in his heart, reminding him of what he had lost. The intimacy they shared, the warmth of her touch, was now being given to someone else, someone who seemed to awaken a side of her he had never seen. As Lucas's hands explored the curves of her body, Ethan felt a deep sense of longing wash over him, a craving to reclaim what was his. But just as quickly as that longing surged, a surge of anger replaced it. He had to confront them, had to put an end to this betrayal. Yet, part of him wanted to linger in this moment, to watch as Mia gave herself over to the man who had stolen her away, to understand the allure that had pulled her from his arms. Ethan stepped closer, his heart pounding in his chest. He would confront them, but he needed to gather his thoughts, to find the right moment to reveal himself. The night was dark, filled with shadows, and within those shadows, he felt the tumult of emotions threatening to consume him whole. Finale, the shattering moment. Ethan stood, torn between the desire to expose the truth and the ache of loss that gnawed at his insides. He took a deep breath, preparing to step into the light and confront the betrayal that had unfolded before him. But as he watched Mia lose herself in Lucas, something shifted within him. The weight of anger morphed into a determination that fueled his next move. He stepped from the shadows, his heart pounding with each step. The moment his foot hit the gravel, the sound echoed like a gunshot in the stillness of the night. Mia's laughter froze in her throat, and both she and Lucas turned, their expressions shifting from surprise to horror. "Mia!" Ethan's voice rang out, a mixture of betrayal and heartbreak. "What the hell is going on here?" Mia's face paled, and she scrambled to adjust her dress, her eyes darting between Ethan and Lucas, who remained seated, his demeanor shifting to one of smug confidence. "Ethan, she began, but the words faltered, and silence enveloped them. "Did you think I wouldn't find out?" Ethan's voice was sharp, cutting through the tension like a knife. "After everything we've built together, you betray me with him?" He gestured towards Lucas, who leaned back casually, a smirk playing on his lips, as if he was enjoying the show. Mia's cheeks flushed with a mix of embarrassment and defiance. "Ethan, it's not what you think," she pleaded, but Ethan could see the truth in her eyes. The warmth he had once seen there was now laced with something darker, a thrill, an excitement that he had not ignited. "Not what I think," Ethan echoed, his voice rising. "You're in a car with him, and I just saw you kiss. How can you say it's not what I think?" Lucas finally spoke, his tone dripping with mockery. "Maybe she's just exploring new opportunities, Ethan. Something you didn't provide." His words cut deep, and Ethan felt the heat of anger rise again. "Get out of here," Ethan said coldly, fixing Lucas with a glare. This doesn't concern you anymore. With a slight chuckle, Lucas opened the car door and stepped out, stretching his arms as if the whole situation were merely a game. I think it concerns us all now, don't you? He taunted, giving Mia a look that made Ethan's stomach twist with rage. Mia climbed out of the car, her expression a mix of guilt and defiance. Ethan, please, let's talk about this. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. She started, her voice trembling. Didn't mean for it to happen? Ethan shot back, incredulous. You didn't think about me at all, did you? You just dove into this affair without a second thought. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, and for a moment, Ethan saw the woman he had fallen in love with, the one who had once filled his life with laughter and warmth. But the memory was quickly overshadowed by the reality of the betrayal standing before him. I was lonely, Ethan! Mia cried, her voice breaking. You were always gone, and Lucas, he made me feel wanted, alive. Alive? Ethan repeated, his heart heavy with pain. What about the love we built? Was that worth nothing to you? I thought it was, but... She hesitated, struggling to find the words. Save it, Mia. You've made your choice. Ethan turned away, each step feeling like a part of him was being ripped away. He couldn't stand there any longer, watching the woman he loved entwined in someone else's arms. Mia, wait! Lucas called, but Ethan didn't look back. He could feel their gazes on his back, the weight of their actions pressing down on him like a heavy shroud. As he walked away, the reality of what had happened began to sink in. Betrayal was a bitter pill to swallow, and though the hurt would linger, he knew he had to find his way back to himself. The night felt cooler now, and as he stepped into the darkness, Ethan made a promise to himself. He would rebuild, he would heal, and one day, he would learn to trust again. The road ahead would be long, but he was ready to face it, without Mia, without Lucas, but with a newfound strength that would guide him through the shadows of heartbreak into the light of possibility.